historical significance to the Hornets from McIntyre's farm. On the third day of October in 1780, 600 British soldiers were attempting to scavenge supplies from McIntyre's farm. The 14 Patriot men until near the garden fence, a hornet's nest had been disturbed. The enraged insects descended on the British soldiers, and the Patriot men saw their chance to strike and open fire, causing mass havoc and confusion. The British forces retreated as the 14 Patriot men maintained their protect and attack mentality, successfully defending their land. General Cornwallis would later state that Charlotte was truly a veritable hornet's nest of rebellion.
Officially submitted our application to the NBA Board of Governors to change our name from Charlotte Hornets starting in 2014. The way the fans supported the team and the energy and the atmosphere, this is what we want to bring back.
We got heritage here, we got history, we got Muggsy, we had LJ.
It make the fans want to come out again and have that hive and have that spirit that we used to have.
The way that the crowd participated, we felt like we were part of the team.
I'm ready.
Ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
We're ready.
Ready. Ready to back the bus.
Ready.
To announce that the Board of Governors has unanimously approved the Charlotte Bobcats application to change their name to the Charlotte Hornets.
I would say it brings a tear to the eye, but that sort of understates it, and it makes me want to just gush. It's a wonderful, wonderful day.
It's amazing. They brought back so much memories to me growing up and being part of it before.
Night. You guys asked, and we delivered. The name the Hornets is coming back to Charlotte. We want to bring some of the guys, the original Hornets. Come on out, guys.
Soul of our future. Prepare for the rejuvenation of Hornet Nation.
Thank you and good afternoon. I want to thank everyone for coming out this afternoon, and I would like to especially welcome everyone. Today, we complete a task that has never been accomplished before, bringing the name back to its original market after it left and was used elsewhere. Today, the Charlotte Hornets name is officially back home. From this point forward, we are officially the Charlotte Hornets, a property of Hornet Sports and Entertainment. As a former original Hornet season ticket holder myself, I am especially excited to usher the Hornets name back to Charlotte. The Hornets name returning would have never been possible without the passion of our fans and the commitment of our owner. Our fans were the driving force behind the name returning. All the data and research indicated to us that they wanted the name back badly. And it couldn't have happened without the commitment and open-mindedness of our owner and his financial commitment to our rebranding process. We also would like to thank the New Orleans Pelicans organization and the NBA for all their help and cooperation throughout this process. As you saw in the video, we understand the significance of the Hornets name to the people in our community. It's a name that evokes a tremendous amount of pride. The Hornets name has been a part of our community for more than 200 years, dating back to the Revolutionary War. Our goal from the onset has been to be very strategic and very deliberate in our approach, one that includes our fans every step of the way, from celebrating the approval of the name by the NBA Board of Governors, to unveiling our new logo at halftime, to today's announcement streamed live on Hornets.com. With that said, I would like to turn it over to Pete to share with you some of the successes we have seen thus far and some of the upcoming Hornets events that we have scheduled.
Thanks, Fred. It's hard to believe it's almost 1 year to the day that we began this process. And since we started this journey, the response from the community has been absolutely overwhelming. The impact was immediate. As we launched the process last off-season, more than 2,000 new season ticket holders joined our team, and we had 90% of our fans renew their tickets. That put us in the top 10 in the league in both categories, and that was just in anticipation of the name returning. So far this offseason, we are #1 in the NBA in new season ticket sales for next year. And every one of our season ticket holders are now part of Swarm 365, our year-round membership benefits program. On the merchandise front, since we went on sale January 18th, we've set team record after team record. Businesses continue to exceed our expectations, and new product is arriving every day. Social media is another metric that has exploded for us as we've tripled our number of followers across all platforms. The return of the Hornets and the performance of our team on the court this past season has been an exceptional combination for our business, and it'll lead to an amazing environment at Time Warner Cable Arena next year. As we continue this process, there's much more to come, and here's some of the highlights of what will be happening over the summer. On June 5th, Hugo the Hornet returns home as we bring back one of the most popular team mascots ever. June 7th, the Honeybees auditions begin. On June 9th, our entire organization will participate in the Hornets Day of Service. We'll swarm Hornets Nest Elementary School in Charlotte, help beautify the school, and provide a major grant to CMS. I think most of you know when MJ bought the team 4 years ago, becoming a greater part of this community was one of his goals. That will continue as we transition to the Hornets. On June 19th, it will be the highly anticipated debut of our uniforms. On June 26th, the night of the NBA draft, the new Hornets court design will be unveiled for the first time. In July, the team will return to on-the-court action as the Hornets for the first time in over 12 years as the NBA Summer League takes place in Las Vegas. And then in October, we'll host BuzzFest, a multi-day festival celebrating the return of the Hornets and the tip-off of the 2014-2015 NBA season. Along with these major events, we've already begun the process of rebranding the entire arena, and obviously everything will culminate with opening night in late October 2014.
One more exciting major announcement we'd like to share with you today. After working with the NBA as well as the New Orleans franchise, we are happy to announce that along with the name returning today, all the statistical information, records, and history of Charlotte NBA basketball will also be returning to our franchise. As an organization, thank you, we will have access to and own all of the historical elements from not only our Bobcats era 2004 through 2014, but also the original Hornets era in Charlotte, 1988 through 2002. New Orleans will maintain the franchise's history starting with the team's first season in New Orleans, 2002-2003. The transfer of the historical records will begin soon, and we're working with the NBA and the U.S. Trademark Office, and we'll make an announcement when the transfer is complete. We are thrilled to have access to the Charlotte basketball history of the Hornets, and we know how much it means to our fans and to our community. This is a piece that was very important to us as we went through this process. This strengthens our history as well as our connection to the city and our fans. This provides us a tremendous alumni base, and we cannot wait to continue to incorporate them into our Charlotte Hornets family. We have heard from several of the Hornets alumni about their excitement regarding the name returning and how excited they are to be a part of our family with it returning to this city. Charlotte's NBA history is now completely intact. Before I conclude, I want to take a brief moment to again thank our owner and chairman, Michael Jordan, for his support. I'd like to also thank Curtis Pope, who's here, our vice chairman, for his unwavering support throughout this entire process. Also like to thank Rod Higgins, our president of basketball operations, and Rich Cho, our GM, and also Coach Clifford and his entire staff for their support throughout this transition season as we finished a great Bobcat season. I think with the success of our team on the court, our young core of talent, the cap flexibility we have going forward, all the positive things on the court that just started to begin this year, and the excitement around the return of the Hornets is really like a perfect storm, and we're ready to undertake it. We're excited to have the Hornets name back where it truly belongs. 364 days ago, our owner told you our intention was to change our name. And today, May 20, 2014, it is my honor and privilege to officially welcome the Hornets name back to its rightful home here in Charlotte. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred and Pete. At this time, we're going to open the floor for questions from the media. We ask that you please wait for a microphone and identify yourself and your outlet before asking your question.
Hi, Kelly Bardick, WCCB Charlotte. I know the name change and the branding change wasn't free, wasn't cheap. Is it worth it?
You know, when we went to Michael and to Curtis and started talking about, you know, what we hoped the name change would do, we've far surpassed all of our expectations. I know Pete spoke about our record stores and record nights in the team store. We've had 5 franchise record nights since we introduced our new logo. Leading the NBA in new full season ticket sales. You know, it's a combination of having a great young team on the floor that was performing well, but also the excitement around the Hornets name coming back. To renew 90% of our ticket base shows us how committed our fans are in supporting us because our team's improving, but also their excitement around the name change. And just the buzz around the city has been so much fun to watch. And so I think if we asked Michael if he felt like it was worth it, I think he'd say for sure, because this is and has always been about our fans and how badly they wanted the name to return.
Richard, down here in the front.
Richard Walker with the Gaston Gazette. I know you guys had a Cougars throwback jersey night. How soon and how quickly will Hornets throwback nights happen, and is that to be worked out with NBA? Because I'm assuming that with your alumni base, the Hornets throwback nights to jerseys and that sort of thing.
Oh, okay, I understand the question. Well, what we plan to do is really start to, especially now that we have the historical history as a part of our organization, what we plan to do is immediately start reaching out to former players, get them involved and engaged. As you also know, part of our merchandise line is also a legacy line that will include materials from the prior Hornet logo, caps, shirts, and so forth. And so what we plan to do is really marry the two brands into one. And you'll see all of those things live in our market, you know, the legacy product as well as our new logos. And as much as we can incorporate former players, we certainly intend to do that and make them feel very much at home and be a part of our family.
Amanda?
Hi, sir. Amanda O'Hara from My Fox Carolinas. Two questions. One, will we see Bobby Phil's jersey hanging up here next season, or Muggsy Bogues? I know that's another fan question. And also, what's going to happen to all the old Bobcat stuff that is around the arena? Will that be donated? What will happen to all that?
Yeah, well, there's two answers there. Obviously, with Bobby Phil's, we have every intention of returning that jersey to its rightful home here in Charlotte. I think there's conversations that need to take place with the Phil's family and with the New Orleans franchise, but that's something obviously that's under heavy consideration, and we're going to do everything in our power to make it happen. As far as former Bobcats gear, you know, we've moved through a lot of the product that was in the store. People wanted it, I think, from a preservation standpoint, but we're going to earmark as much as we can from a historic standpoint, and then the remainder of it we'll move to dispose some of it. But for the most part, a lot of it will be preserved for the history of this franchise.
Chris Miller with WBT. Has it been decided what Hugo will look like? Will it be the old mascot? Does the records returning to Charlotte allow for the mascot that we're familiar with to return also, or does it have to look different with the logo change too? Will there have to be a change in the mascot identity also, not just the name obviously is coming back, but will Hugo look different?
Well, you know, what we've done throughout this entire process is try to pay homage and tribute to the history of the Charlotte Hornets. And so with that said, much like we did with our logo, you will see some similarities, but with the refresh. So we're excited, we're really excited to unveil Hugo on, what's the date, Pete?
June 5th.
June 5th. You'll see a lot of similarities, but he'll be refreshed and ready to go.
For Pete or Fred, I'm curious about two things. On the jerseys that you're unveiling, do we know how many different uniforms there will be for the Hornets? And then secondly, when you talk about throwback, will you ever do a Bobcat throwback night, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly could, and obviously we want to give the new brand some time to breathe. But relative to the new jerseys, obviously everything's going to be unveiled on the 19th. I think people will see a lot of similarities to the old jerseys. But as Fred noted before, everything has evolved. It's been 12 years since the team actually played here in Charlotte. So those type of things are going to change. But we think people will be really excited about the new look when we unveil it on the 19th.
Brett Jensen, FoxSports.com. Just trying to figure out, just make sure I understand on this. So Chris Paul never officially played for the Hornets with the records, or how is that going to work for players who played for the Hornets but never played in Charlotte?
The way it'll work is Charlotte NBA basketball will revert back to us. So we will own all the records, all the history for the teams that actually played in Charlotte. And so that goes through 2002 season, 1988 to 2002. We'll also own the history, obviously, of the Charlotte Bobcats and their 10 years of existence, 2004 through 2014. The players that played for any New Orleans team, their records and stats will stay in New Orleans.
George Fair, Charlotte Examiner. What is the timeline for completion of the renovations of the arena, and have the initial estimates of the cost changed as the process has gotten underway?
I didn't catch that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Have the estimates for the cost of the renovations changed since the process got underway? And what is the timeline for the completion?
For the renovations?
Yes.
Oh, the renovations, we're actually working with the city, and at the appropriate time, I'm sure the city will address those issues, but it's a partnership between our organization, the city, and CRVA, and we're still working through those processes as we speak.
And relative to the rebranding changes, the budgets have not changed in that regard. We're going through that process, and our goal is obviously to transition as soon as possible with having everything ready for opening night next year.
And to that point, I think as you leave, if you'll go out in the main vomitory, you'll see Buzz City signage already being affixed in our main vomitory.
Nico DeBarge, BNL Weekly. How will the new Charlotte Hornets be involved in the community as far as outside of on the court?
Well, as Pete mentioned, the day Michael bought our franchise, he made a commitment to this city that we would be involved. And we've done everything we could as a Bobcats organization to go out and touch and help those in our community that needed help. Kim Henderson, who heads up our charitable efforts, will continue to do more and more and more in the community, and we really believe that being able to use our Hornets name and take it out in our community will allow us to do more. So that commitment starts with Michael and goes through our entire organization, and a day we're really looking forward to is June 9th, which will be our day of service that we're able to go out with our partners at Fox and Sports South and with Lowe's and be able to have a great day of service with our entire staff, with our owner, with our players, with our coaching staff and our basketball operations folks. And our goal is to be very, very active and be even more active as a Hornets organization.
Do we have any more questions? Right here in the back.
Brody O'Connell, WBTV. Such a positive move here for the fans, and it seems like in the organization. Was anyone reluctant to let go of the Bobcats? One question I haven't really heard asked because everybody's been so excited about moving to the Hornets, but was anybody reluctant to let go of the Bobcats name? It doesn't seem like it.
Well, you know, it was an exciting year, and one of the things that we had to do was make sure that Coach Clifford and our team knew how committed we were to the Bobcats organization and our team on the floor this year as we went through a year-long transition. So I want to again thank Coach Clifford and Rod and all of our basketball operations folks and our team for just understanding that this has been a 100% team effort from all of our teammates that work day in, day out in every capacity in this organization. And we all look forward to this as a new day for our organization and a day to really galvanize our community and not only think about the Bobcats team, but really have those fans connect with the old Hornets fans and have Hornet basketball be back in this community and it really be about Charlotte NBA basketball. And I think the name change ties it all together.
Any more questions? All right, that concludes our program today. The video of today's event, as well as the opening video, will be available on Bob